Welcome to In the Hoop. I'm George Ayoub with Bobby Mills, the 1,000-yard guy, fresh from his morning period of high school football being over.
Yes, that's right.
We had you here on the Hoop Show, Bobby. We're going to talk high school hoops, and we are going to start out with the Islanders, who had a tough weekend. Lost to Southeast 67-34, and then turned around the next night and traveled to Omaha South, number 3 team in the state, lost 62-30. They're having a hard time generating offense.
That's right. But that, those are two pretty good basketball teams, and like we were talking before the show, I think they'll compete well against teams at their level, and maybe they'll get better as the year goes along. But that's kind of frustrating when you have to play two very good teams like that.
And back to back, and Southeast and South, top 5 teams. That's a tough weekend.
It is
early in the season too.
It is. Maybe they'll learn from it.
The out on Northwest, the boys are in. They're 2-1 on the season. Islanders 1-3. Boys are 2-1. They have wins over Central City and Seward. They lost to Norris. This week they have Columbus and Lexington. Columbus is winless in Class B.
Yeah, they're having a tough time. Lexington competes, kind of, that game Saturday, Northwest was quite the game against Seward. They blew a 12 or 13-point lead.
Had to beat them in overtime.
Yep, made a furious comeback, but they got it back together.
Came roaring back, and so, they'll be an interesting team. We talked about that in the first show of the year. They've gone from the full court press, fast break to the big kids.
Yep.
And so, they're going to try to pound the ball inside, bring Casey Dahlcotter outside for some strokes.
And he did.
And he did, yeah.
Yes, he did.
And I think, that's the formula I think Ryan Rathke's looking for there. So we'll see. They have a big game with Central Catholic right after the first of the year.
That should be interesting,
for some bragging rights, at least for the city. So Northwest 2-1 at this point of the season. I skipped to Heartland Lutheran. I'm going real new school here because our printer's broke.
But that's kind of a neat little deal, yeah.
So Central Catholic, Tino Martinez got off to a great start. Went 3-0 in the early season tourney in their own tournament. Then they lost to a really good SCOTUS team. Had a chance to win that ball game. They were shooting for the tie or the win right at the end of the game. They
were ahead the entire game. I'm doing their stats, the official stat guy, so I watch every film, and they had the game in their pocket, and it just slipped away from them. They had an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter, but SCOTUS is a very good team.
They have a nice player in the Lamb, I believe his name is.
Yep, and they did the same thing against Hastings St. Cecilia the week before, so you're going to see them in the top 10. But Central Catholic's got a nice team.
Central Catholic meets 3-1 Minden and 5-0 Lincoln Christian.
That's a heck of a weekend.
Yeah, that's a tough weekend. Christian on Friday, Minden on Thursday. So the Crusaders being tested early as well.
Yep, that's good for you, though. Same for senior high.
Our friends out on Husker Highway shoot the ball from Husker Highway.
Boy, I'll tell you
they are throwing up the threes at Heartland Lutheran. They're 3-2 on the season. They've got some really couple of good wins here. Yeah. They beat Nebraska Christian 58-51. That was a nice win for them. The Simonson brothers are throwing up threes out there. And, we talked early in the season with the loss of Isaac Splatz.
Oh, yeah.
But they've come around, and Lloyd Wagnus likes the up-tempo, and he likes to shoot the three.
Well, it's always exciting to watch him play, and he does. He's not afraid to shoot from beyond the arc. There's no doubt about it.
We'll be out there on the 16th, I believe, of January to watch both the girls and the boys. And it's fun. It's a great atmosphere out there, and they get up and down the court, and they shoot the ball. So, thoughts on boys early season? Anything that you've seen, not only from our city teams but area teams or statewide?
Well, we all know that Gibbons got a good ball club over there with Riley Reinerson, and I'm not too sure Central Catholic can't put it together before the season's over because they have a good defense and Johanna's so big inside. Northwest is kind of hard to tell. Yeah. They're changing their style, but they're still not a bad team.
They're big kids, and physical kids, and
so
I think that I think they're going to dominate inside, and if they can find an inside-outside match to go, I think they're going to be in good shape.
Yeah, they still like to run. They ran a little more than I thought, but there's some nice teams around here. Like I said, Gibbon, Adams Central is going to have a decent team second half of the season. So
Donovan Trumbull, with their athletes, they're going to be good.
They will be good. They're same bunch, and they've already established themselves as a Central Nebraska power and state power for sure in basketball.
Just from following high school sports, that success in one sport really helps at another.
My wife disagrees with that, but no, I don't. I think it's
I
true.
think it's kind of that winning spirit, or that
Yeah.
idea that some confidence. So it's difficult, as you said before we started here. The Islanders go to the semifinals of state football playoffs, and then they get off. They're kind of stumbling out of the gate here. They have enough of the football team on that basketball team, Pearson,
They do.
Wadalevich. I think that they're going to be, I think they're going to be okay. They're going to get themselves straightened out. So.
They're very heady. Like you say, they'll get straightened out.
We'll be back in the second half of the show, talk about girls basketball and a little bit about the new officiating emphasis right after this message from our new sponsor, Snap Fitness. All right, welcome back to In the Hoop. I got to get that right.
In the Hoop.
New season. We're going to talk about girls basketball. Islanders are 2-2 on the season. They have wins over Marion and Omaha South, lost to North Platte and Southeast. New coach out there, off to a pretty good start, I think. They meet Fremont Friday. We're going to have that game on theindependent.com as the boys and girls. Fremont comes to town loaded with talent. Jess Shepard, of course, transfer in. Another transfer from the Bellevue area. They are really loaded. So this is going to be a big test for the Islanders at home.
It will be, and it's like we always say, it'll be good for them, but to play against the best. So
yeah, they have some good athletes, who played volleyball on the team that qualified for the state tournament. So that's a good nucleus to work with.
I think the Ewing girls doing a nice job, so it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be a fun match, and we'll be there Friday night.
You bet.
Call those games. Northwest, defending state champions. Gosh, they go down to Norris, who beat them in volleyball, and then they took one on the chin down there by 9, 56-47. That's their second game out of the gate. They're 3-1 early on the season. Wins over Central City, Crete, and Seward as well. I think they're going to be there at the end. They just have too many good athletes.
I think they do too, but I'm sure they're aware. I'm not spilling any secrets. What you do to stop Northwest girls, don't let them get into that fast break thing. Slow their tempo down. Run a real deliberate offense, and then when they, you're going to make them so impatient that when they get the ball, they're going to hurry things. Right. That's what Norris did. And can you do it? Who knows? Norris had the athletes to do it.
And the thing about we saw Northwest play enough last year that Mackenzie Brown is the X factor.
Mm-hmm.
She's signed to go play basketball at UNK, but she spots up from anywhere on the court.
She does.
In the fast break. But the other thing she does well is she passes the ball.
Oh.
So, she's a complete player, and so she is really a weapon. When you're trying to get them to slow down, but they move, good athletes. On the floor all the time. So
and Erin Sorhan, Katie
Plocky,
either one of those
group.
Either one of the three can heave it all the way down court on a fast break transition thing, and that scares you. Though that nucleus right there is going to take them a long ways.
So they're a good ball club.
Yep.
Early season 2 and 3 are for the Grand Island Central Catholic Crusaders. Got a couple wins in the early season tournament over Wood River. Sandy Creek lost to a good Lincoln Lutheran team, to an undefeated St. Paul team, and to SCOTUS here.
SCOTUS always has a good girls team.
Always has a good team.
That's had a tough schedule, haven't they? They've won what they've supposed to have won and lost.
Well, I think if you look at that, Lincoln Lutheran and St. Paul, those are really two good ball
girls
clubs,
teams.
right?
They are, yeah.
So they're going to meet Minden and Christian.
Ouch.
On Thursday.
How about Minden?
Minden 5-0.
There's another Kissinger.
Yeah, they're the real deal. And so they're going to be, that's at Minden. Both of those are away games, by the way. So, and then they're heading to their holiday tournament at Central Catholic. So, Heartland Lutheran girls, 2 and 3 on the season, wins over Pleasanton and Nebraska Christian. That's a nice win over Christian, but they've had a pretty tough schedule. Humphrey St. Francis, 4-1.
Boy.
Silver Lake, 3-1, and Spalding, 2-1. So, that's 2 1-division, 1 2-division teams you've lost to. So I think the new coach, Catherine Langhair, I think I hope if I mispronounce that, I apologize. She has got it going.
I think that win over Nebraska Christian was big because Carl Ostrand, that used to be the splendid athlete from Mansley, he has 2 daughters that are really good players, and they beat that team with those girls. So That's a real big win for Heartland.
And I looked at the box score, and scoring spread out.
That is great.
7 or 8 girls scored, so that's great.
They're on the right track.
Yeah, I think they're on the right track.
Yep.
So this week they have McCool Junction and Harvard winless both. Teams are winless, so they ought to get a couple wins.
That should be good, huh?
Yeah. So Harvard is home on Saturday. McCool, that ball game will be on tomorrow night. So just one quick thing that we were talking about earlier on the air. I looked up what the point of emphasis was on officiating, because you were talking about there were a lot of fouls called in the Southeast Grand Island game. And one of the things in the manual for the NSAA, rhythm, speed, quickness, and balance of the player, the offensive player cannot be impeded, or they have to call the foul. So, you know, a lot of hand checking and a lot of bumping, they're going to do away with that. So, you know, and you and I have called a great game from the sidelines.
But, you know, it's going to be...
My friend Joe Wells would disagree, but, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that is applied, you know, because a lot of coaches teach, you know.
They do.
Teach to be physical on defense. And,
call it the hands-on defense.
Yeah, and this mirrors, I think, what we're seeing at the college level, too.
Yep. And I you know, everybody knows Central Catholic plays like that, the boys do, but they seem to have adapted pretty well to it. I haven't seen that many fouls in the Southeast Grand Island game we did, but I think it'll hurt the Class A game maybe more than anybody else.
Yeah, Class A has always been, you know,
they're
bigger kids,
fast game.
Fast game. It's pretty physical in there.
So you got to do what you can.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be some balance here. I mean, I don't think that the NSAA nor the officials want to call any sort of touch as a foul.
No.
So but I understand. You know, we don't want the game to end up 22-20.
No, we don't.
Because you can't get to the basket.
No.
Because of the physical nature of it. So, Bobby and I will be at Grand Island Senior High Friday night for Fremont, boys and girls. The girls game first, and our producer-director there.
I can't wait to have her there. First time for basketball.
She'll be there for basketball, and she always does a great job with this show. We'll be back next Monday for another edition of In the Hoop. In the meantime, thanks to Snap Fitness, our new sponsor. Get out and watch a high school basketball game. For Bobby Mills, I'm George Ayoub. See you next week.